Hey, it's time for another Pokémon Rant. I know these don't usually go over too well, but I really gotta get this crap out of my system because it's driving me insane and I'm very close to a breaking point. It's not gonna be swear-filled like my last one, so don't worry about that. But basically, they've got a lot of crap to cover now, so I'll start with the simplest, and that is the RNG, or Random Number Generator, abuse, exploit, whatever you want to call it. People acting like this is somehow okay. It really isn't. I don't care what you say about it. It's not. For people who don't know what it is, basically, I don't really know much about it either. All I know is that you're tricking the game into generating a Pokemon with the proper IV spread, nature, and possibly shininess that you want by... In Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, you did it by tapping the coin flip a certain number of times. In the other games, I'm not entirely sure how you do it. But the point is, you can't achieve this without this calculator and with finding out your secret ID, which you're not supposed to find out anyway, and you can really only do that either through hacking or through another calculator that depends on finding a shiny. It's just... the game was not built with this in mind. I don't care if you're actually using any sort of cheat device or not, it's still cheating. It's pretty much the same thing as in speedruns, tool-assisted speedruns of Mega Man or something, when you specifically do it in such a way that this enemy will always drop energy when you need it, some stuff like that. Those are called tool-assisted for a reason. It's because it's not legitimate playing. Anyway, with that one aside, there's this new trick. I think it was discovered about a month ago, but it only just now became popular. It's this stupid GTS exploit. Now, how this works is that someone created a program in Python that lets you turn your computer into a miniature GTS server, and then you upload Pokemon data onto it, and then it broadcasts over Wi-Fi, and people can download it onto GTS, through the GTS onto your game, basically distributing your own events. And people think that this is fine. If you're gonna cheat, then just cheat. I don't really care, as long as you admit you're doing it. But don't try and justify it. There is nothing fair about this at all. Tell me what part of that sounds fair. Did Nintendo intend... Did they create this program that lets you do this? No. Do they expect people to be basically, manipulating the game in order to read a signal from something other than their own official server to download, data off of it? No. Do they even expect you to be able to have data compatible with the games on your computer? No. So, really, there's nothing about this that is not cheating, and everything that you're distributing off of it is basically a clone. And some people accept clones, but you really shouldn't. I mean, if it can be bred, then breed it. It won't have the same stats and stuff, but that's, what you're supposed to do. If it can't be bred, then too bad. You might as well just hack another one. So it's really the same thing. So, those are the two biggest offenders. As I said, I don't really care if people cheat. If you want to go out, buy an action replay, and hack a bunch of stuff, you be my guest and do that. But finding all these ways to get around that, and then somehow acting like this is normal gameplay that is supposed to be, allowed... I mean, I'm trying to avoid the word legit here because I really hate that word, but that's really the only way to describe it. Acting like this is legit is just bullshit. It isn't. Okay, so anyway, getting into the trading stuff, everybody knows that I hate trading. Some people say that it's an irrational hatred. At times, I kind of agree with that, but at other times, I don't. It really depends on the case. Because let's just go back to the beginning with Red and Blue. They put in trading so you could interact with other players. You were supposed to find friends with the game, and if you gave them something, then they could give you something. And that was it. There was no breeding. So it was like, basically, if you want a starter, you either have to find somebody who has a bunch of them, like by restarting the games over and over, and get one that way, or give something of equal value for it. Those were your only choices. Then comes gold and silver. Now you can breed. It's basically like counterfeiting money, like with the starters and stuff, but that's fine. It simplifies it a little bit. It makes them less valuable, but I can't see any other way to do it. I mean, you have to trade to get them. There you go. Then comes Ruby and Sapphire. Basically the same thing, except now literally half of the Pokédex is missing, and you have to get it from the other games, which means you have to do a lot more trading, but it's still generally the same thing. And if you don't want to do that, or if you can't, you could always get Colosseum or XD and transfer them using that as a midway point. So it's still possible to do that if you don't have any friends who play the games or whatever. Then comes the 4th generation, and here's where the problem lies, because they introduced the friend code wireless crap. So, first of all, there's the GTS. I don't really have a problem with it. It's filled with hacks, but if you're going to be using it, you probably already know that, and you're taking that risk. They designed the GTS in mind with it being really limited in what it can do. You can only search for stuff that you've seen before, which prevents you getting like legendaries right off the bat. And you can't like barter at all. If somebody wants a Turtwig for their Piplup, you can't give them a Chimchar instead. There's no way to like there's no way to contact the other person and like change their mind about what they can receive. And it wouldn't have been that hard to program it in such a way that you could do that. But the thing is, they didn't. They made it this one specific way, and that's all they did. Now, the friend codes, I'm just guessing here, but I assume that those were intended to be used, like, if you and your friend are both at home, or if, like, you meet somebody online or whatever, and then you are actually friends with this person, hence the term friend code, you can call them up and ask, like, can I trade blah blah blah, and then they'll be like, yeah, just get online with it, and you do that. They don't have their own message board where you can go on and just ask for whatever the crap you want and usually get it without even offering anything decent in return. Like, they don't endorse this, basically, is what I'm saying. The only sites that do are unsponsored by Nintendo. Stuff like GameFAQs, Cerebees, Bulbapedia all have these stupid trade boards on them, and thus they are all filled with people willing to give something for nothing, usually because you can breed a million of them, which, I guess going back to the days of Gold and Silver, it wasn't that much of a problem then, but now it is, because you can just do it with the click of a button. You don't actually have to find somebody and be friends with them like the original games, which is why it was introduced. You see what I'm getting at here? Now you just go online, find some schmuck that you don't know, say, can I have a free Feebas? I don't feel like looking for one, and then they give you one for a Bidoof. It's like, wow, that was hard. Did you really accomplish anything? No, you didn't earn that Feebas. You can't even begin to act like you earned it, but you got it. And so, there's also going to be the cloners and the hackers on there giving stuff out, and like I already said, if you're going to do that, then do that. But you can't get something that somebody else hacked and be like, oh, I didn't hack it myself, that makes it fine. Because it really isn't. I did that myself back with the original Silver on Game Boy Color, and at the time I considered it okay, because it's like, oh, I caught the 199 that you can get without trading, so I'm going to get the rest of them just by cheating. But I'm not cheating on my own game. No, I'm cheating on my cousin's games and then transferring them over. That's fine. It isn't. Looking back at myself, I was an idiot in believing that it was. And that's what people are now. They're idiots. They're acting like this is okay. And even if it isn't cheated for, you're still getting something that you didn't necessarily deserve. And so, like, it really should only be used as a last resort. If you can't find it in your game, and you don't want to buy another game, and you don't have any other friends to do this with, then really you should just be out of luck. That's how it worked before. Now there's just all these other places, and people will get like 20 Pokemon in their game and trade for every single other one and act like they completed the Pokedex. You didn't. I don't care what you say, you didn't. And that's why I believe it's cheating. It really depends on the situation, but you have to just assume the worst in these kinds of things. Which is why I'm trying to distance myself from these parts of the community that I hate by being so anal about it. And that's all I have to say.